Okay, great. Well, I'm gonna sit and be relaxed because I'm gonna be working with this computer too. So.
One of these chairs that are a little bit more padded.
Oh, I got some padding. Thank you. Well, welcome everyone. I'm so excited to be here. I've been connecting with Kathy and Janet and just really thinking about how to bring AARP to local communities. My name is Marisa and I work with our state office. And we're gonna spend some time today on a topic that was really identified by the community of interest. I can share with you that the #1 issue that Coloradans as they age want is to stay or age in place or age in community. So we really wanna stay, and I say we because 100% of us are aging. It's going to, be something relevant for every single one of us. I do want to spend some time with some of the work that this organization does, what this work comes under, which is called Age Friendly, and this very robust workbook, which we can go through together. And I am not a HomeFit expert. I have done some of this training myself, but I did want to leave you with some expert resources so you can go home with those. And generally, I like to do more facilitation so we can all say, hey, I tried this didn't work, or I really love this, so we can learn from each other. So we're starting with this beautiful image of the metamorphosis of aging. The butterfly gives an outdated ID to the police officer and says, well, there's been some changes. And I like to think about this as, what do we love about aging? I want to hear, if you want to share your name, share a little bit, maybe your community or what brings you here today. But what is a positive? Because I think we're in a time where we want to lift up what's great about aging. Anyone want to kick us off?
Perspective.
Love that.
Well, I think at a certain age, you don't really care what anybody else thinks, so you start living for yourself and not for those around you.
Oh yeah, that sounds great. Tell me your name again.
Cheryl.
Cheryl?
Cheryl Dinko.
Okay, thanks. Anyone else that just like, okay, this is really good? Yes.
I'm not as stupid as I used to be. Or I'm more stupid than I ever was.
I love that. Love that. Okay, however we want to frame that. Anything else? Any of those pearls or things that just are really are benefits to aging?
I have to say, I just had a health issue, and they have made so many advancements now that it's like it's not a big deal anymore. Like they can really fix you and help you out, and I think it's amazing.
Love that. So we can demystify some of the fear around aging and feel like
it's not a big deal anymore.
Thank you. That's really helpful. Thank you. Okay, anyone else? What we like about aging? Yes.
I'm Lois, 82. I've learned that oriental carpets don't skid, the runners don't skid, and in the last AARP magazine, they're talking about getting those little stickers things to put under it, and so I'm working on that now. So I plan on staying in my home.
Great. We can stay in our home. We have a lot of ways that we can do that. That's what we're going to work through today. I love that. Good. Good. And I am with you about the wisdom that we learn, the perspective. I really love, and I'm going to be 47 in that middle, and I love the idea of having gotten through some things, and so that sense of we can take things on. Because we know we have that perspective, as you said, to be able to face things. Okay, so who is AARP? I do want to just give us a little heads up about the organization. We are the largest nonprofit in the country, the largest nonpartisan organization, and we really, our mission, what we do is we empower people to choose to age, to live, how they would like to age. We also have a foundation which is dedicated to ending poverty in seniors, certainly a top priority for us is, aging is number 2 in terms of those experiencing homelessness, so certainly something that we're thinking about. And then all of our services, which you probably see our brand a lot of places, and car rentals and banks and all that, so we have quite a bit around our brand development. What do we do? So what does an AARP membership do for you? It does things like this class, it does magazines, it does a lot of communications, but you may not realize how much advocacy work we are doing. We really lead in advocacy at the national level, whether that be Medicare, Medicaid, keeping Social Security solvent, which we all want. These are going to be things that we are at the forefront at the state level, at the national level. At the state level, we're also doing quite a bit in terms of livable communities, prescription drug costs here in Colorado, your ability to keep tax benefits, and the Homestead Act, which allows folks over 65 to have those benefits on their taxes if you move. So we're really at that advocacy level at the federal, the state, and the local level. We want to really be also with you where you are. And tons of information. I don't know if you know this, but the magazine is the world's largest circulation. And I anticipate it's only going to be more so because we are currently an aging state. That means we have more people over 65 than under 18. The nation goes this way by 2034. So we are strength in numbers, right? Definitely going to be seeing more of this. Our bulletin, our website, our public media. Now, I just want to touch base before we get into HomeFit about this idea of age-friendly or livable communities, because this work comes under that umbrella. One way for AARP to really make an impact at the local level is to help create local age-friendly communities. Has anyone heard of this? Okay, kind of the best kept secret. So the World Health Organization has an initiative called Age-Friendly Communities. That is really a way to create communities that are thinking about the built environment, thinking about pedestrian safety, thinking about access to resources, and really allowing people to stay in their communities, which is what they want. For the United States, AARP administers this program, and it's called our Age-Friendly Communities. It would be wonderful should Westcliff want to become one. This would be an opportunity for you all to say, we want to put our mark here, and the mayor would sign off on this, and it's a dedication to say, we are thinking about this in an intentional way. We are an aging community. We want to be set up for success. So this is just a way to let you know who's already involved. I saw that some are connected maybe with Chaffee County. That is a community that is part of the Age-Friendly Network, so you could see what kind of work they're doing in terms of how that's connecting with age-friendly work. But we have a total actually of 24 now, and the state of Colorado is an age-friendly state. So I just want to let you know what that means. That means they're working in these 8 domains of aging, which, get ready, here comes everything, right? It's outdoor space, transportation, civic participation, et cetera, et cetera. And the majority of these communities that have enrolled as livable communities, as you can see, the majority are less than 50,000 population. Okay, so this is really designed for smaller communities that want to band together. So any questions on that before we move to HomeFit?
So what does that mean? Does that mean that you pay something and get certain education stuff, or it's just a designation?
It's a great question. So essentially what happens is there's no costs. The city I'll just tell you the process of our latest enrollee, Uray County, came into the network. A woman in Ridgeway had read in the AARP bulletin about this work, and she said, I would like our community to also be age-friendly. She went to her county commissioner, said, how do we start this process? What do we need to do? Do we have people in place that can be real advocates for this work? There is no cost, but you do need to have an advocate, like, in this case, the highest elected official signs off on that letter to say, we commit to being age-friendly. Then you get to start the 2 to 3 year action plan to say, where do we want to focus? And The communities that are in Colorado are all different. One community said we want to add one senior lunch to our senior center. That's our goal. Another community said we want to work on walk safety and pedestrian safety and adopt safer streets policies. Another one said we want to work in missing middle and help with our mobile homes. A lot of our seniors are living in mobile homes. How do we make them safer? So you all would say this is how we want to do our work. And then AARP is the thought partner. We are also one of the biggest funders of this work. So we have 4 grant programs that we run through the state, and you can access funds to really help you with that work. And we funded, in fact, I am working with this pilot library program to see can we work specifically with libraries, knowing libraries are a place where people gather. So it is exciting if you have a nice, I would say a handful of people who are dedicated to this. It's getting that enrollment, then you work on, okay, what do we want to do here? Then you see the assets of all of the thought leadership, the webinars, the cohorts, and the funding, which is really what is going to be a big difference. Another thing is we see a lot of state funding. States are going towards funding age-friendly, where some of the AAAs have lost some funding. So those are those areas of agency on aging. And so that's been interesting to notice where the funding is going. So it would set you all up to be in a position to possibly receive more funds. So if you want to talk to me, I'd be the person to talk about that and be delighted. I think you'd be a great fit. Okay.
We have some of those connections too.
Oh, good.
So, yeah.
Good. Yes.
Is it better to do it at a city level or a county level?
That is a great question. I would actually encourage you, the smaller the better, because I think it gets more tight-knit and you get further from the action plans I've seen. I'm thinking of the town of Carbondale. I'm thinking of, some of the work that they have been doing, La Junta is doing. It seems like when it gets into bigger and sometimes we had multi-regional work happening, you got a lot of hands in the pot, right? So it can be challenging, yeah. Do you want to speak to that?
I'm just thinking 4,000 or 5,000 people in our county. I think that's
Still
small.
Yes, I
Yeah,
think
we're
we're
starting all over
Yeah.
the county.
Most of us are elders.
Yeah.
That's lovely. And then you would really say, okay, we need transportation, right? That's where we want to focus. How do we think about ride shares? How do we think about different, I'm thinking in Durango, housing was so expensive. A woman, a real leader, social worker, took on a project to do home sharing and matching. Actually, there's a college there, so some students with elders. So it really matches what you all wanted to know. Yeah. And I have lots of these ideas, because that's a lot of what I get to do, so. Okay, so HomeFit, we're gonna jump into HomeFit. This is gonna be yours to take home. We're gonna just work through really this presentation, and like I said, this is going to be, my try at it, because I am more at this higher level, but let's talk it through and facilitate it together. Oh, yeah, we do, we should. Where did I put those?
Oh, they're here.
Oh, no, this thing.
This,
Yeah.
There we go. Sure. Okay. Okey-dokes. Okay, so making home safe and livable for all. Before we jump in, any first blushes of what you think about when you think about making your home livable or age-friendly or a way that you could stay in it? What are the first things that pop up into your minds? No stairs, that's a good one, yes.
grab bars.
Grab bars, we'll cover those.
Walk-in shower.
Yes. Anybody think about lighting, or we talked about some throw rugs, zero entrance. Has anybody made modifications yet to their homes? Or done so for a parent?
My mom was in a wheelchair when we built our house, so we've made everything at least 36 inches
Great.
wide to get around the kitchen and the doorways and that kind of thing.
Okay, perfect, yeah. Was it a factor when you bought your homes? Did you all think about, no, okay, we thought about, we love this home. do we wanna all stay basically in our home, or are we thinking we would go to another home if we needed to? What would be the preference, just to gauge? Stay?
Too many variables.
Yeah, that's a lot. I think most people tend to wanna stay in their home, and we do know, we'll talk about some costs now around what that is. I'm definitely going through this with my mom IRL. So we'll talk about some key home modifications, some DIY fixes we can make, spaces safer, more livable, and think about what are the more expensive changes to residences that would allow lifelong occupancy. And of course, the HomeFit guide is what you'll take with you. That is really, the best, the fullest example. So we have a lot of perks of making our home fit. We'll talk about universal design, if anyone's heard of that. That's really the gold standard for making our homes livable. We'll go through each room and look at some, do-it-yourself and professional upgrades. So, even the smallest changes can make a difference. They result in a life of living safely and comfortably in the home. We are gonna just check in, does anyone know in this area some of the costs for a private duty home health aid or an adult daycare or assisted living facility, nursing home, or private home? Let's compare some of those numbers.
It's Valley.
They charge $30 an hour. Is that?
That's
Health?
for home, that's not health, home care,
care.
$30 an hour.
And don't know about home, we don't have home health.
We don't have home health, right, of all those things, the only thing we have is an assisted living facility.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So generally, it's about $5,000 to $6,000 for a home health aid if we had that coming into the home. Adult daycare, I know some of that just, might not be relevant, but that's about, $2,000 a month. These are national. Assisted living just under $5,000, although some places can go much higher than that. And then the nursing home, of course, can go up to $12,000 a month. So really, these are big numbers to get our heads around.
Outrageous robbery
Big
No.
numbers, yes.
for American medical. Our American medical system sucks.
And
Worked in medical 20 years, seen it all.
yes, and long-term care many times doesn't cover these things, so
What were you
that's
gonna say, Mark?
How accurate are those numbers? Like, when were they compiled?
I would say this is a recent presentation, but again, this is a national aggregate, so it's really gonna vary. I mean, they're just giving us a ballpark for the whole country, and so I know those will trend very differently. And Colorado is an expensive state, so.
Does anybody know Valley? Is it 3 to 4? I think it's 3 to 4, somewhere in there.
Okay. That's a good number.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Okay, oh goodness. So then we'll just, yes, you have your HomeFit guide. I wanna just say that's 36 pages with a lot of tips and tricks in this. And the URL at the bottom will just give you a preview of all the steps to make your home fit livable. Lots to check out there. And then we have our handout.
This is what I'm doing now.
Yes.
You're on it.
And we'll look at quick fixes,
Wow.
which are 1 price tag, and the more expensive, which are 2 price tags. Okay, so we'll start with quick fixes that enhance safety and livability and aren't unique to a specific room. These may sound like reminders, but I think they're really good. I know they're good for me, just to keep in mind, because some things have changed. So starting with the smoke detectors and all of these carbon monoxide detectors. So has anybody have gotten a newer one over the years? Or are we still mostly with the chirping that can go off and be pretty annoying? Any updates on these for anyone?
Well, there's so many propane heaters around here that a carbon monoxide detector isn't gonna do is you need a natural gas detector, not just the carbon monoxide.
Okay. Anyone else? The newer
Dust and spiders set them off, I know that.
dust and spiders set them off. So there's several kinds. I didn't really know, I the ones that plug in, but obviously there's some other versions, that might be,
And that they have a life, that those.
they die.
Well, even if they don't die, they should be replaced every,
Yeah.
what is it, 5 years, 10 years?
I have, it says some that have a 10-year battery, newer devices cost more, but they're more reliable. There's also smoke detectors that also monitor carbon monoxide levels. As you said, that's important with a fuel burning appliance, fireplace or attached garage needs at least one carbon monoxide detector in every level, especially by the bedrooms. The CO detectors come in battery powered, plug-in, and hardwired versions. So they should be placed either 5 feet from the ground or a few feet below the ceilings. So does that sound pretty clear? Okay. Now, fire extinguishers and water heaters. What is the lifespan of a fire extinguisher?
I don't know. I got a really old one,
We probably all do.
really old one, I need to take
Is
it
it
to
in
the,
the range, right?
yeah, very,
So when you said you need to take it where?
to the fire department.
They
They'll
can
go and
recharge them
certify it.
for you.
Once a year, we should be inspecting these and making sure they're fully charged and functional. You can contact your local fire department to find out where you can have your fire extinguisher inspected if you aren't sure. Then water heaters, let's talk about them. What comes up with water heaters that we need to be aware of?
Sludge.
Calcium, but-
Has anybody gotten scalded from the heat, too hot? Yeah, so we wanna watch out for the heating. Some health experts do advise that people with health conditions use a setting of 140 to reduce the risk of exposure to bacteria, but then again, you'll wanna weigh the pros and cons of not getting too, scalded with doing that. A second line of defense against scalding is make sure your shower valves and pressure is balanced. Now, I don't know exactly about this, but this means the cold water won't flow away from the shower when the toilet is flushed, but a plumber helps you figure that out. So those are some things just to keep in mind. Throw rugs, we already talked about. What are good ones, what are bad ones?
Rubber back.
There you go, very good. Rubber backed ones, what are the not so great ones? Please slip sliding away. The slip sliding away, and I know we talked about putting that tape down, but sometimes that tape comes undone and it still slips. So really, we do wanna
No, I
think
have some of the little.
about those ones that are much more durable in terms of being able to be, on
We should get them all.
the ground.
You should.
Cushioned, slip resistant, and better than the other kinds of rugs. What about these stools? Has anybody seen these stools?
No, that looks good.
Yes,
I have one of those.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so definitely wanna be careful about, we've got something to grip, and that also you'll notice on the different stools that they have a grip on the ground, so that the stool won't slip. Okay, let's get into our outside of our houses, right off the blush. What do we think is a good exterior? What could be more precarious?
Steps with handles, like
Yeah.
handles
Yes.
anywhere.
Very good. Anything else we noticed that's really helpful? We'll think about clutter, getting in and out of the house. We'll think about the elements. Think about what can impact us while we're getting in and out of the house and what might be helpful, like a structure to protect us. Okay. So the porch, of course, a highly visible address number is good for our deliveries, for first responders, for people to see that number's lit is gonna be really important.
Well, in our county, it's to get those green, somebody help me how you get those.
Through the fire department.
Fire department, we have the green for our end of our driveways.
Oh,
They were
are those have
reflective, they're two-sided.
good, okay.
Yeah, so at night you can see the numbers.
Okay.
Just if somebody's driving around, you can just see them.
That's
I love
good.
those, I think it's
Yeah,
great.
I thought I'd have to go to 80s.
No, they'll
reflective.
$25.
$25.
Sometimes glow in the dark is really nice as well. And then that front door mat, like our other mats, we want heavy, solid, not slip, won't blow away. And then lastly, this outdoor lighting, easy for safety reasons. It's great to have at least one outdoor light that's at height that doesn't require a ladder to change. So anyone can do it safely.
And dark skies friendly.
No.
Yeah.
Because dark skies will change your light for you if you, I mean, they'll give you one.
Oh, this is
Dark
great,
sky.
thank you. That's a local resource. That's really helpful. So our overhangs and our zero-step entrances. So we wanna see, is there an overhang on your front door, anybody?
No.
Nope, yes, okay, yes. Best case scenarios, we've got one to protect us from rain, from snow, a stoop, a contractor can help, it's easy to do. And then the next is to check, does your doorway have, ideally at least 32 to 36 inches to allow for a wheelchair to pass through? Somebody already mentioned this earlier. Do we know that? Did we have to make a change for that to happen? When you made that, did you?
That was, we were in the building process,
construction.
so,
I see.
so that was easy, we actually have double doors on the front door, so.
Okay, great.
Well, even if you don't wanna think about wheelchairs, you still walk through your door with bags on both sides.
Correct.
So,
Yeah.
you can trip yourself up.
You know, all these things, wheelchairs, strollers, furniture, moving a couch in and out, right? They're really, this is why it's called universal design, is like we tend to design for one thing and then it helps all these other things. So that's a really great point. So that's the ideal. And then zero-step entrances are best because they are accessible to all people, and a home should have at least one zero-step entry is what they're saying. It doesn't have to necessarily be the front door, but it can be the front door. And they can be created with landscaping by adding sloping pathways, which then needs to bring in some more of that landscape architecture person to help with that.
But also little ramps, right? You can buy little ramps to.
As well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get into ramps as well. But yes, all these little things. AARP is gonna launch something called My Future Home, so it gets people like me thinking, okay, how can I stay here so I don't need to move? Okay, the entranceway, swings, clear hinges. Again, this is not my expertise about hinges, but does anybody know anything about hinges?
We have one of those. We
Yes.
have that. My
Tell-
husband's in a wheelchair, so yes.
Tell us about how that helps.
Well, it makes the door slightly wider for getting through,
Okay.
just enough,
Okay, great. Was it a big lift to change the hinges out?
not at all.
Oh, wow.
Great.
You ever heard of it?
I have either.
They make, as we hear, the hinges make the door opening as wide as possible by swinging the door completely clear of the opening. So we'll-
Is that interior as well?
And this is pretty much fits all standard doors. Like my question is like, would there be different sizes?
They're just hinges.
Peepholes, handles, locks, what are the benefits of these? We've got all different kinds. Generally, we know peepholes allow us to see, right, who's coming in, so that's a safety. Anything around handles or doorknobs that we think might be better?
Well, we just changed out some doorknobs for a gentleman who had round doorknobs and the arthritis in his hands wouldn't let him open them. So we got him more of a square doorknob, which he could grip a little bit.
Great.
The handles are great because they don't need, you just push them down and open it. The bad thing about that is bears can also open them.
Well,
So
there
can
we
cats.
go. There, we need a bear,
Bear
those
garbage.
bear garbage.
Don't
So,
put them on the exterior.
but you need that on your hands on the outside as well as the inside, so you need to consider keeping it locked when you're
Oh,
not
okay,
using
so the addition of that.
a door, a deadbolt or
Yeah.
something like that, just to keep the bears out.
So that's exactly right. The door, the level is a metal handle. It's easier to use than a doorknob. So that's a nice way to think about that. A doorknob lock isn't the best though for exterior because it can too easily, accidentally, you can lock yourself out. So we talk about that from the outside. That's a safety concern. And the best security is a keyed door lock should be separate from the door handle. Does that make sense? Okay. And a deadbolt or cylinder lock is a strong device for securing a door. A swing bar or the chain lock is installed at the interior of the door and allows a person inside the home so to open and kind of have a few inches while keeping the door relatively secure. We're not talking about the keypad locks. Does anyone have thoughts on those?
Reading the numbers is difficult.
There it is, that one. If people get the number, how secure is it? If you forget the number, right? So that one, we didn't have that included here, so I was curious if we had any thoughts on that. Convenient, of course, if people need to come in and out of the house, caregivers, you don't wanna make all these keys. So that's something to think about. My mom is definitely not comfortable with that option. I've tried it. So that's
Experience.
no, that one, no. So now we're gonna get into these exterior steps and walker steps and ramps. Anyone have any experience with this? No. Okay.
Well, what's really important, and I see it here, is that there's a large flat area at the door. So you have a solid, large step to stand on while you're trying to open the door, as opposed to steps going straight out to it without some kind of landing.
That looks like a good thing to the garage. We put one on the church, the exterior of the church office at the Methodist church, and it was aluminum, and we got it secondhand. You could look for these on eBay or whatever, but it got a little slippery in the winter.
Oh, that's really important. Yeah. I wonder if that's why they're featuring wood, because of that kind of more the grittiness to it. So again, these want to be really well lit, free from obstructions, obviously. The railing should extend past the last step to ensure safe transition. They can be adapted into walker steps, which have deep treads and short rises and allow those who use a walker to come in safely. And they can be a good alternative to ramps, and we'll look at those now. Here are the different kinds of ramps. Permanent ramp, temporary ramp, and a threshold ramp. Did you want to share about it? Yes? Did you have a ramp story?
Oh, I just was mumbling.
Okay.
I need a permanent ramp to go up on my deck.
Okay.
It just so once.
He's a handyman. The reason I know about this is when he comes to somebody's house, it's almost the first thing we have to deal with. Is how to get into the door safely and how to get in and out of the shower / dreaded bathtubs. So that's the first thing that he looks at. The one thing that he doesn't necessarily consider that ought to be in his thinking is the lighting for those areas. Because we go through our house without any lights on, fine, but this is a little different.
And obviously, the permanent is going to be the biggest add to the home. It's going to require a professional. The temporary is got steps in it and the ramp, so that seems interesting to me. And the threshold is just, it says if you just have a short step to overcome, you would get the threshold ramp. So I'm wondering if you have any examples. It's just a little touch.
It's just for that inch or two, so that you don't have to step up and over it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a mat that kind of gradually gets you level with that. My husband has one like that for his motorcycle. That's just a little ramp to get over the hump of the trailer. Same kind of principle.
Anybody have ramps not going into the front door, seeing them in different places in the home? Where else might we put one?
Oh, like the living room where you go down 2 steps into the living room or something like that.
Garages as well, and that provides protection from inclement weather. So just some different ways to think about where we can put this. Platforms, little lesser familiar with vertical platform lifts. This is a big professional to do. This would have controls, call and send controls, a manual hand crank for when there's no power, a removable canopy for a cold weather package. This definitely needs a professional person to add this. And I did copy here some statewide resources. There's a funding mechanism through the state of Colorado for home modifications. It goes largely unused because, like many things, there's a program, there's little outreach about it. So people just don't know about it. But all these types of things are eligible for Colorado residents. So make sure you have that email, that link, excuse me, about the modifications.
And that's in here? Or-
That's AARP Colorado, so I wanted to bring
Oh, okay.
Colorado specific state funds.
And is that the same funding that AAA uses?
No, they get their money from someplace else.
Okay, so there would be potentially 2 pots of money.
Yes.
But what occurred to me is this is what the lifestyle navigator needs. Sorry, we've been talking about health navigators versus lifestyle navigators and the need for that at our county. Because there are so many resources available that
It's
you need a single
overwhelming.
place to go to find out where to go.
Yes. Yes, I know I work a lot in Denver Metro, and I know they've extended beyond Denver Metro. I would look into, they're called Brothers Redevelopment, and they are really into this HomeFit, especially for older adults. And they have a paint-a-thon, painting homes, and really helping them to stay livable. And I do know they absolutely are moving out of Denver, so those resources would be great. The state resources, I don't know beyond that. I don't know that the AAA's had any help, so. Okay, let's move on to the kitchen. Any best ideas about what would be helpful in a kitchen? Yes.
I always tell people that they're not allowed to put anything on the top shelf or on the bottom.
Because we're gonna be reaching and falling and.
Because neither one works very well as you get older.
So there isn't an ideal height to have everything at, okay?
Monica, do you talk about the pull-out drawers versus or the pull-out shelves?
No, I don't, but I mean, pull-outs are definitely better.
It does make that bottom shelf so much more accessible, is to have the pull-out drawers, but ours are cheap and they're hard to pull out. You have to give a little quality for that.
Yeah, and you can get that kind of stuff at like Home Depot, where you can just install it. But I just think you just shouldn't use them, because that's.
You shouldn't
because you're
have
getting
that
there.
much stuff. Is that what
Exactly.
you're-
That's what you think. That's right.
So you cue this up beautifully. You know, storing pots and pans in drawers or in open shelves makes them easier to locate and to grab. D-shaped handles are the gold standard. They make cabinets and drawers easier to open and close. Those are the ones we want. Those cushioned, again, slip-resistant floor mats by the sink and stove. And yes, rethink the space where you have standing up at counter to prepare food for a long time is very taxing. You might want to move to a table or a lower counter space to work. And then the Lazy Susan, there it is. That's the pull-out. Adding a Lazy Susan in a corner cabinet help make those bowls and pots more accessible. A lower level cabinet with pull-out, again, trying to get closer to that where we are located to make things easier. They do talk about cabinets over the top of the fridge, but again, you want to be very careful when you're accessing those. And you know, just the drawers of varying depths can maximize the space. Finally, the changes to the lever style light touch or sensor faucets. I have not used a sensor faucet, so I can't say I know about that personally.
Yeah, there are bathrooms everywhere.
Oh, those, yeah, now, I
Like
have it
the
in the
touch-
kitchen,
Yeah.
sorry.
Or they have touch faucets where you touch it and it turns on and you touch it and it turns off.
Okay.
I can only afford trash cans, so do that.
Okay, bathrooms, of course, is a big one to think about aging in place. We can have a lot of life-threatening things happen here, the floor, the toilet, the tub. And we, again, always wanna have those non-stick. We're gonna talk about night lights, the commode chair, and the transfer bench. These are big ones. And I'm sure we've had familiarity with these, all of us.
And we have a source of those in our community.
Okay.
No, now say something about that.
Do we have a, like
It's called a medical lending library, so we've got medical devices like that.
beautiful, and they're at accessible costs for people?
They're free. Yeah,
great,
free to use as long as they need to.
great.
Return it when
Is
they're
that
done.
with Rotary?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't need to go over, we know they,
Because when I got some surgeries, I had to have that stuff.
Yeah.
I had to go and buy it.
It's expensive,
Yeah, it's really nice.
and they're out of space.
any thoughts on the transfer bench versus other ways of showering? I've heard this is the most popular, most endorsed.
Well, I have foot surgery and getting in and out of a shower is really difficult. So you can sit on the edge and swing your feet in, but that bench is a lot safer than sitting on that little bitty ledge of the
That's
shower
right.
to try and swing your feet in.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah.
Even young people have trouble, you know.
Okay, the heights of toilets, y'all, we need to get them up. They're really low, so those comfort height toilets, especially the best option for our wheelchair users, is to have a solution with a regular toilet. Another solution is that comfort height toilet, that you can use, one of the temporary solutions. To add height to an existing toilet, you get that toilet base riser. It's called a toilevator. And these usually cost less than $100, so they're pretty accessible, and you can see that there.
They probably have those at the Rotary too, don't they?
I don't know about that.
I hope not.
Another universal design is gonna be the height of the sink, and ideally it's 36 inches high sink, base, and vanity, so that requires less bending over, so we can stay a little more upright. A wide doorless shower, with a 0-step entry, that's gonna be the best, for a shower, including full swing shower doors and the use of a shower curtain or partial wall. And that permanent seat or shower bench is relaxing shower safety for all people. So let's just see that. The handheld shower also makes the shower more customizable for people in different abilities. So that's how that, anyone have any examples with the chair in the shower, the built-in? No, not as much. I've heard more positive things about the seat versus the built-in.
Oh, really?
Well, what they've done well in this shower is that they've got the hand sprayer next to the bench, as opposed to, a lot of times you'll see the hand sprayer on one end and the bench on the other end. And that's not quite as easy.
Okay, what do we notice about the grab bars in the shower?
They're two different directions.
Yes, is there a better direction? Does everyone have a feeling on that?
When you're seated or you're standing.
Okay, let's see. I feel like they're gonna tell us this now with the grab bar section. There is a best practice. You can see the one that is got the check and one that doesn't. So what's going on? Grab bars must be installed onto supportive blocking, which is best done by a professional. They are secured correctly. They can pull away from the wall when someone puts their full weight on them. Keep in mind that these are unsafe products like the one shown with the red X's, but are sold as grab or assist bars, but they're using clamps or suction cups to secure them. So never, ever, 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 right? They show that those grab bars are safest secured as when they are horizontal to the floor versus vertical or diagonal. So I learned that, I did not know that, I've seen them all different ways.
Yeah.
But this is really the research shows us that is the safest way.
So wait, you're saying that they should all be horizontal even if you're gonna use it standing? I
Well-
guess that makes sense, cause you're not gonna slide down it if it's
The vertical, yeah.
okay.
Although, like, to get out to,
I think you need
a
to-
96-year-old friend of mine asked me to put one next to our shower that was vertical so she could step up and over the side. There wasn't enough space to put, you know, because on the outside edge of the shower, it had to be vertical.
Something's better than nothing.
Yeah.
Something's better than nothing. I think for sure the bright lines are the suction
Like
cups.
standing, yeah.
The diagonals, I think, like you said, probably can cause that slippage, so this is the best practices if we can. Okay, our living spaces, finally, having guests in our home, you know, lighting, thinking about lighting, and just spaces that are usable for all people. So natural light is always gonna be one of the best things to incorporate. So think about window treatments in the home, also could be a safety hazard, but how can we, you know, open them up for natural light, also the closing and the cleaning of them, thinking what that kind of poses. Secure the curtains and the blind cords so no one becomes tangled and trips on them. Place plug-in night lights in unused outlets throughout the home, battery-operated dusk to dawn motion sensor night lights as well on the highways. These are simple solutions that do provide enough light for us to move in the night.
They have new, my brother-in-law is a light freak, and he just bought these LED strips that are just long, narrow. They came in like packages of 6, and they motion detect. So he stuck them underneath in the bathroom, underneath like the medicine cabinet or whatever, so when you walk in, they automatically come on. Or on stairs, at the bottom of the stairs, just when you're using the stairs, that they come on. Anyway, you might look for them on Amazon.
I love all this. This is fantastic. Electrical and harder to do's. Okay, here's we're getting into the gonna be a little bit bigger lifts. Ideally, we should have switches at both ends of the hallways and at the top and the bottom of stairs. Light switches that glow in the dark are also really helpful. Rocker style switches that are pictured make turning lights easy, and dimmer ones allow us to adjust to our needed basis. Adding wall sconces to each side of the bed allows folks to easily turn on without getting out of the dark, and be sure to tack cords out of the way to prevent tripping over them. So those are all really straightforward ones.
I was thinking about the clappers.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
No, they
You're
do have
aging
them now.
yourself.
I was just at IKEA, and they have light bulbs with remote controls now, that you could just remote control the LED light bulb.
Okay.
On, or, and dimmer.
Okay, so now we're getting into hallways and stairways, also something we really typically think about with aging in place. Make sure you keep at least 36 inches of passing space in hallways and stairwells so people can use them safely. Okay. If stairs are uncarpeted, add non-slip surfaces such as adhesive strips or securely placed rubber treads. So you can see these little guys here, which my mom had all unattached. I was like, this is terrible, Mom.
But they made, at one point, they made thicker ones that were unattached,
But they didn't move, they didn't slip.
not well, and they didn't blow in the wind either. And I'm thinking about for outdoor concrete steps, so that might have been
Yep.
what those were used for originally.
Yeah, I just know if we can get those adhesives or really, you know, concrete so there's that tread. Okay, here's one. My poor mom's getting thrown under the bus today, but she does this notoriously. If you have things that you need to take up and down the stairs, how many of us make a pile? Do not do this. Keep a
It's but that one's just hanging on the banister. That's not so bad.
Keep a tote to take up and down so you don't have piles of things on the stairwell.
Not even in my house.
And then this is a little, yes, this is gonna get a little bit more intense, right? So we just workshopped this because mom had 6 pelvic fractures and walking was no for a year, so we looked at this, the stair lift, right? These are gonna be bigger, obviously, fixes. The safest surface and covering for steps is a tightly woven low pile carpet with thin padding. Use contrast to help differentiate each step from the tread of the next, and secure carpet runners. So we talked a little bit about those. The stairwells, again, the lighting have railings on both sides. When single-story living is not possible, the chairlift. They aren't cheap, but they can be purchased used, which is greatly reduces the price. And beyond that, installing a home elevator. So, any examples or experiences with any of those?
It's really hard to get people to fix elevators here, so that's big.
That's a great point. That is the upkeep of all this. That's great.
The other thing too is when you wanna sell your house, you're gonna have to take that out.
I
But,
know.
but you're right, you can buy used ones, and so that's a hard resource to find.
They're also not pretty. I mean, they're just not pretty. They don't look cozy, they don't look homey, they look industrial.
And with my mom, what we did was we actually just repurposed the dining room.
There it
Because we had a
is.
dining room and an eating area, so we just made the dining room into her bedroom.
And there was a bathroom on that
And-
floor.
Well, we had to put a bathroom in there.
Wow. So yeah, I think people leverage all those costs, and so, yes.
Well,
And-
that's part of aging in place.
Yep. And
That
again,
was
we saw those costs and if there is no place for assisted living or skilled nursing in your community, this is really the option, right? So, okay, well, let's think about now, what is one fix, that we wanna tackle in the next 3 months?
Can I suggest adding something to your presentation? One of the biggest tripping hazards are your pets.
Oh, we were
And
going to talk about that.
Pets. There needs to be some kind of training, or we have taken to, putting a doggy gate or a baby gate up to keep the dogs out of the kitchen when we're cooking. They used to have a line that they knew that was their line they couldn't cross, but they lost their hearing, that line disappeared, so. But pets are a really bad tripping hazard. And there needs to be some training to go along with that. You know, they're not allowed on the couch till we have sat down, then they can get on the couch. That training is important.
And when do we do this training with our pets?
Well, before they become a tripping hazard. But all along, it should be a training that you are thinking ahead of to keep them away from your feet.
That doesn't work for cats.
They like to just fall down.
They run by a different. Yeah, they're a little harder than, you're right, they're a little harder. Can you train your cat to be in a spot, or are they all like wherever they want to be?
We've trained our cat to not get on the counters or the table. And there's only certain places that he's allowed to sleep. So he's learned that, but we got him, he was pretty young. But we haven't figured out how to keep him out around feet.
Yeah,
That's a great point.
but it is something that needs to be thought about.
We are a very pet-friendly state, so I think that's a great point.
See?
I will bring that feedback back, and I'm bringing back the bear door.
You don't think about that in Denver, do you?
No, we
Not
have
as
some
much.
fox issues though, coming down
They
into
can't
the
reach
city,
them.
but they can't, yeah. They do take our pets though, we have to keep them inside at night. Yeah. Wow, gotta watch out for that. So yeah, what kind kind of really perked your interest to something you think you can take on short term, medium term, or longer term? What inspired you all?
I have wooden stairs and my friends always say, because I'm running up and down them in socks all the time, they're like, you gotta stop. And I'm gonna do the tread thing.
It's time to get one of those mats and go in front of the sink or whatever, instead of a, even though I have one that doesn't, a rug that doesn't really move and stuff, the mat would be just so much better. You don't have to worry about it.
And my understanding is that it's absorbing, right?
Yeah,
So it's
yeah,
less
it's cushy.
strain on you. So that's also feels
Yeah.
better to be cutting food and stuff. So yeah. I don't know when the last time I checked my fire extinguisher. True confession, save space. I know, I just don't think about it. So definitely need to do that.
You mentioned that Brothers Redevelopment in Denver.
Yes.
Is that a volunteer group or is that like?
That is
revenue?
it's a nonprofit. They
Okay.
do quite a bit of really home modifications. They worked with a program that wanted to do kind of reverse assisted living, where people wanted to they weren't happy and wanted to make their homes come back home. It was kind of a like come back home project, and worked with social workers and nurses and just a tremendous wraparound service. They, of course, started in South Denver, but I know have moved out across the state. So I want to really encourage you. They have a lot of volunteers that do the paint-a-thon every year and paint homes. But beyond that, just a wealth of resources. I do have a webinar I can share of our webinar with them, which is like this 2.0, much more in depth. So I can share that with you.
Because I wondered if there's even, Cheryl's husband is a handyman who we know does this kind of work, but trying to identify for our Landing Well resource guide, if there are any people in our community that specialize in this, or if that would be an interesting niche market for somebody in our community, because there's so much need.
There is.
I'm just gonna throw out an idea I heard from my brother-in-law at another small town, is that his church, the men for their Bible study would go to people's homes that needed help.
Oh, wow.
And so they were actually doing stuff. And, cause, anyway, that made them gather more and, really helped.
That's very
It is.
Well, the fire department will come out and help you look at fire safety issues around your house. It almost seems like it's time for a senior checkup time. Let's look at your house. Over the next 5-10 years, these are the changes you should make, so your house is ready for you when you are older.
That's an interesting idea.
Future-proof your house.
Good
job.
There you go. There you go. Now you've got the I'm gonna write that word down.
I'm just putting all this together, but I think, if you all become a designated age-friendly community this could be the project, right? Is to create.
That would be great. That would be really cool.
You
You're
create.
listening, Terry, right?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
And this is really a model for other communities.
I like that.
There was something known as a NORC. It was called a naturally occurring retirement community. And this is where people said, we don't want to go to, obviously we can't, it's expensive, we don't want to move, we love our community. And they created sort of like a Washington Park resource guide. And they said, this one can help with these handy projects. This one does landscaping. This one is available to run vacuums or drives or transportation.
Isn't that what neighbors?
That's what neighbors helping neighbors.
That's what it is. So it's that kind of way to say, how do we kind of do retirement home on our terms?
So for those that didn't know, Cheryl put a flyer there on.
Perfect.
On Neighbors Helping Neighbors, and it's hooking up vetted volunteers in the community to help you with just a little bit of, I keep thinking about my neighbor across the street that can't push the vacuum anymore.
Sure.
So she's got a volunteer that comes twice a month to push the vacuum and clean behind the toilet. Because her back won't allow that to happen anymore. So there is a flyer to be a member or a volunteer or both. Yes.
Oh, there's an app.
So you have apps, there's artillery, like I said, of resources with AARP Online. These are some of the kind of most used resources that we have. HomeFit Guide, which you all have, but also was gaining popularity, disaster resilience. We'll be doing a statewide webinar on preparing. Wildfire season is coming, or in it, we are in it. And then, yeah, things like a transit guide, what can we do at the local level to help with transportation? I read a quote recently that we will live 10 years longer than our ability to drive. And so that is a long time. I know our friends in Chafee, Molly is working quite a bit with transportation and addressing those needs. So these are all kind of ways to really, think about how we age in place. So again, you can always become a member if you are not a member. I think we're $12 a year, so it's inflation, I know. But we have lots of benefits, so. Any other questions, anything else I can help with?
So, you talked about grants and stuff,
Oh, yes,
and so, yeah.
yes.
Do you wanna just talk about that, or do you want me to ask you a question?
Yeah, ask me a question, yeah.
Oh, so we're, currently, there's a group, consortium on aging, and we're working on a grant that works with transportation, works
Okay.
with, a navigator, works, case manager, and then also, these are the big things. And then the medical in-home,
The MIH.
MIH, you know,
Integrated health,
medical integrated health.
Okay.
And that's through EMS. Anyway, so we're bringing a lot of these together, and we're working on grant funding, of course, to get this started, because it needs some people who are hired.
Where would we fit in there?
Yes, yeah.
Well, sure, our big grant program is called the Community Challenge Grant. And we probably give out anywhere between $150,000 to $200,000 a year in Colorado. Total. And those kinds of buckets, so what kind of things would you would take what you've just talked about and see where does this now fit in the livable, age-friendly community grants. So there's a bucket of digital wellness. That's a very broad category, but we know technology is a major issue for older adults. If we can't get on to see my doctor and notes and all this, we're really getting left behind. So we want to absolutely support programs that help bridge the digital divide and offer, whether it's training, whether it's in-person webinars, whether it is taking something like what you're doing and adding that digital piece in it, for example. I'm thinking of one grantee that was working within a community that wanted to preserve their family history, so it was like history and culture and all that, but they needed the digital piece to make that happen. So see where that kind of chord comes in there. The next piece we work a ton with is transportation. So I'm thinking of our help with something like an All Points Transit that's on the western slope, helping them build out their routes, adding routes, creating shade structures. We know that's a big barrier for people for waiting for transportation and buses. So that wheelhouse around transportation, also pedestrian safety, walk audits, any kinds of structures. Like we work a lot with Main Street. Are you all a Main Street community? You may become one. That's also another thing with the state. These are rural communities that have access to dollars for built environment projects. That's another bucket. So we've got digital wellness, transportation, pedestrian safety, housing, and thinking of innovative pieces around housing, whether that's training to stay in a mobile home, how to keep a mobile home safe, up to date, renters' rights, things like that.
So the one that Cheryl mentioned, the
Yep.
idea of doing evaluations for people's homes
Could
could fall into that.
That's what,
category.
yes, so I'm just trying to give you the broad, and you can see where you kind of intersect, right? Yeah, that could be.
I do too, I think
Yeah,
that's
that
the
is
one,
always the-
that's the
yeah.
one.
And then there's money at this,
Did you get that?
this, home modification, tax credit, rebate stuff, there's money
Look
to
into those,
make
yes.
changes, so you go out and do an audit, and you help with making changes for that, and get a have funding for that.
And approved handy people that will help, or church groups or whatever.
Sure.
Love that.
Well, and it's a future-proof your house.
Yeah.
And that's so that somebody who's my age is like, I'm fine, I don't need any help. Maybe if I got the audit done now, I would work towards it over even 10 years' time, and then I wouldn't even know that it was a problem.
Right,
Exactly.
And yes, a HomeFit audit is a great idea.
and you guys would
We
provide
would
these?
provide those, we could provide you, like, this sounds like a micro grant, so like seed money to do some workshops, some volunteer training to do the audits, like that would be like a really nice fit for some of our work, yes.
I want to pay for the lifestyle navigator.
This is exciting. And we can connect with you all at the library, because I know this pilot program is thinking, this is the exact idea. We wanted to hear what does the community need, and really this is the anchor institution that we've been partnering with, so thank you. Anything else? You all have my name and number and everything?
We don't have your number.
No, we
Just
don't.
call
Just
my
your number.
personal cell, that's fine.
And the
Can you
number
go back to
is?
your first slide and
Where was
so we
it?
see-
I didn't think it was on that slide.
her name is though.
My
Oh.
name is there, yes, thank you.
Marissa Volpe.
You got it, thank you. And what I'll do,
And her title.
there it is, and I'm gonna do this. And we'll be at AARP.org. That's the easiest way.
Okay.
Great. Thank you. I am gonna request a photo because you all are the kickoff for the AARP library pilot for Colorado, if you would be open to it.
Oh, that's great.
Is that okay?
Yeah.